that it's not fair for the people that are going to come after that. And plus, that Bible now is not necessarily relevant because humanity has moved forward 500 to 1,000 years. Then we got Jesus, yeah? God sent Jesus with the New Testament, yeah? Updated guidelines, yeah? And again, with another prophet to show us what to do. Thereafter, yeah, after Jesus, we believe Jesus was raised, he didn't die. He wasn't disgraced like people claim he was. He was raised to the heavens and will be sent again, as do all three Abrahamic faiths. And then after he left, then we know that the Bible was changed. You can check John chapter 7 verse 53 right at the bottom.
It got changed a lot. It got changed a lot.
In fact, even in the printed versions, at the bottom it says this was added by a scribe. Yeah, it tells you at the bottom. In the preface it says
it's no secret. People know it's been like new editions have come.
Exactly.
The Bible was very old, you know what I mean? So it's been changed a lot.
Exactly.
And then of course there was Prophet Muhammad, and that was just like, I think that was
but think about it though.
Of the medieval times, wasn't it?
But think about it, Joe. Jesus himself says, I was sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Yeah, he spoke their language. He continued the law of Moses. So Jesus didn't claim to come for everybody. Yeah. However, then of course when Jesus was raised and the Bible got changed, then God sent the final testament, which encapsulated all of the previous books.
Right.
Because if you look at the 6 themes of the Quran, they are themes that are covered in the previous books also. Yeah. In fact, if you look at the prophecies of Prophet Muhammad, yeah, they are even being unraveled today. Yeah, there's certain prophecies that I'm going to tell you, you're going to be like, oh damn, he said that 1400 years ago, he said that. Yeah. And we'll be like, yeah, he did. Yeah, so no other prophet claimed I am for everyone.
But do you feel that like literally there's no validity in other interpretations of the Lord?
That's a good question, but I'd frame it like this. When you were 7 years old and you had a jumper, yeah, that jumper fitted you, it did the job for you. Yeah. Now that you grew up to 11, 12, yeah, you needed another jumper. This needed to be a bit bigger. Maybe your moving areas a bit thicker. If somebody says, what about this jumper? It doesn't mean it's wrong.
But I kind of feel that that's the same case with religion now as well. I think that there needs to be some kind of reform, like a re-established, because like, no disrespect to the Quran, but it's kind of outdated in certain ways as well, in my opinion. And I think that we need some kind of new interpretation that's like an amalgamation of all of this great information that comes from all.
What do you feel is outdated?
Well, I mean, things that were relevant then don't seem to be relevant now, but at the same time, I think that like
what?
Like no, we're getting into a debate.
No, honestly, Joe, look, I'm not here to convert you, I'm not here to trip you up. Even if you check my YouTube channel, I do banter, you know what I'm saying? It's a bit of a laugh. I cover current affairs, but you know what I'm saying, like I'm not that type. If you feel it gets a bit uncomfortable, bro, you can walk away whenever you want.
No.
I
don't want to step on anyone's toes.
No, Joe.
This is my first day here, innit?
But Joe, think of it like this, yeah. I'm telling you that there is one path, there's one book, there's one prophet. I'm making the claims that this is the path, not only for you, for me, for the whole of mankind. I should be able to take a few questions that you send my way. I should be able to withstand certain, bitter pills if I'm making such a big claim. In fact, I would say it's your right to ask me, and I'm not going to get
about discourse, isn't it? This is what it's all about. You just like exchange ideas.
Bro, I'm not like that. Why did you say that? No, say what you want. But say
it's kind of difficult because like I was gonna think of it one example like, oh, why is it like the rule of women need to cover up and stuff like that, but then there's another part of me that's thinking, well, look what's going on with like a lot of the culture at the moment with the over sexualizing of women. And so like there's this, with every single point that I make, there's always some that I already can hear the rebuttal back to it. So I'm definitely, I would say that I'm conflicted in my views about these things, and I definitely haven't given it as much time as you have to like really, you know, I suppose I put a lot of my thought process into my writing of my lyrics, so a lot of the thought process goes into recording the feelings into that. Do you know what I mean? But like, you definitely, you know.
Maybe do that then. Make a few tracks.
I am. I'm doing that at the moment. Yeah.
Even what's
I'd love to show you my rap at some point. Yeah.
No, I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear it. There's a lot of these famous artists in history. They did put a lot of kind of their feelings and emotions, and if that's something that works for you, then use that as a medium to kind of get your thoughts out
definitely.
there. But Joe, going back to that point where you said, does that mean that Christianity is false, or does it mean that, you know, we can't take from those? It's like a jumper, a 5-year-old, and then you've got an 11-year-old. Now you don't say that jumper is wrong, you say I've grown out of it, it's outdated. And then now you might be wearing this Yankees jacket, but you know, to a 7-year-old, he's not going to appreciate a Yankees jacket. You know what I'm saying?
So you're saying that like it was valid at the time and it was needed at that point, but then we need to move on to something new.
I'm saying that Islam now, because there was no prophet to come after Prophet Muhammad, therefore Islam is now something which is a guideline till the end of time. Like it encapsulates every lifestyle choice. It encapsulates any issue that a person is going to have. It encapsulates above and beyond what we even know. And sometimes this is what's remarkable, that if you look at the Quran, the exegesis, the commentary of the Quran, there's so many things you can extrapolate from it. There's so many solutions. For example, the Quran, or the sayings of the Prophet, he even tells us effectively on how to go to the toilet, how to eat properly, how to sleep, how to, you know.
It's very specific.
It's very specific, because think about it.
I've never read it.
Because think about it, like even sleeping, like when you go to sleep on your right side, and then we know logically our heart's on our left side, so if we're sleeping on our left side, we're putting weight. A drink in 3 gulps. The Prophet peace be upon him said, drink in 3 gulps. Unlike the drinking of a camel. And then now the scientists tell us that if you drink all in one go, then it puts a strain on your visceral organs. You know what I'm saying? And when you go to the toilet, sit down and go to the toilet. Because if you sit down, what you're doing is you're squeezing your bladder. So if you sit down, you make a kind of your lower part of your stomach joins with the top part of your leg, and your
digestive system.
And your bladder, and then all the urine comes out properly. So there's less chance of a UTI for women, or you know, I don't want to get like technical, but a certain thing gets blocked up, especially if a woman's pregnant or whatnot, or when she's going through her cycle. And it's the same with a man also. You don't want to be standing up and then, you know, a few drips and drabs, aftershock.
So you get like this very specific, what I'm hearing, that there's like specific guidelines, but unlike with the Bible where it's like you can extract knowledge if you interpret it the right way. This is one of the things that really got me into reading the Bible, was reading Cain and Abel. It's like one paragraph and it talks about Cain and Abel, and it talks about one brother who's willing to make sacrifices to God and another one who does it half-heartedly. And like, I started to realize that you could think about sacrifice, not just literally giving a sacrifice to God, but sacrifices you make in life. And I started to realize that like Cain could be compared to like one of my layabout friends who's not doing anything with his life, and he's getting jealous, so he makes life difficult for other people around him. So when I started to see that through these stories you can apply it to your own life, then that's when I started to realize, there's something to this. And then I started to read Friedrich Nietzsche. I started to look around and look at what's on YouTube and like social media and how secular things have become. Like, and I'm totally with you, man, without a doubt. Whether it's going to be Islam for me or if it's going to be Christianity, I'm not sure yet. But I've definitely got to do a lot of thinking, man.
What's interesting about Friedrich Nietzsche is he's got that famous quote, isn't it?
God, we killed God, yeah.
Yeah, that God is dead.
Yeah.
But then there's another good quote by...
But he didn't say that in jubilation. He wasn't happy about it. He was very sad about it.
C.J. Chesterton gives a good kind of exegesis or explanation of that. He says, God being dead doesn't mean that man won't believe in anything. It means that man will believe in anything.
Yes, that's it. And that what he predicted, Friedrich Nietzsche anyway, is that we would turn into narcissists.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what's happening right now.
When you look at liberalism, with liberalism the goalposts are constantly changing. In fact, even if you look at the founder of utilitarianism, it's based on the, let's face it, the liberalism principle, the crux of liberalism is based on the weight of pleasure and pain, isn't it? Yeah. If pleasure outweighs pain, then it's good. If it's vice versa, then it's bad. But religion transcends that. It says you're not doing things, and you shouldn't do things just for pleasure. In fact, as Muslims, we have something called niyyah, or intention, which is you do something only for God. So
that's the beauty of it, isn't it? Because it's like it gives you an opportunity to worship something higher than you, like something. There's got to be something that you're divisible towards.
Wicked.
That's
exactly.
It. Exactly. Because if you're just doing it, living life for yourself, then you just become a narcissist, basically, and that's what's going on around us.
We're seeing this. I mean, have you seen the new Batman?
No, I haven't. No.
The trailers come out. Well, DC is known for making very dark movies when it comes to their characters, but I mean, it's interesting to see how certain reboots are becoming more darker. Certain people that were once used by Disney, like teenagers, and making these little shows, have suddenly become very dark. And it kind of fits in with how you're saying the trajectory that a godless society is taking. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a case, and I'm going to tell you what makes Islam unique from, say, Christianity and the other faiths. So the first thing, of course, Islam claims that the Quran hasn't been changed. It's the only one that makes that claim, that it is the word of God. Literally the word of God.
I remember Muhammad telling me this.
And somebody might say, but I mean, you're making that claim. No, we have manuscripts which can be dated to the time that it was compiled. Now you might be thinking, but it's probably like in one of your Muslim countries, isn't it? Like Saudi or over there. But Joe, I would tell you that it's in this country. Birmingham University holds one of the oldest manuscripts of the Quran. Christianity, Judaism doesn't make this claim that they have manuscripts dating to the time of their quote-unquote founders, although we don't believe
so it hasn't been corrupted by reinterpretations and
exactly. And also, Joe, when you look at Christianity, it depends. You ask a Christian, what do you believe about God? Some will believe in the Trinity. Some will believe that
different factions of the
some
religion,
will believe Jesus is the Son of God. Some will believe he's a prophet. This is a fundamental of faith. You ask a Muslim, yes, we may disagree about other things, but our fundamental creed, you ask any Muslim, 5-year-old, 10-year-old, 20-year-old, 50-year-old, Somali, Lebanese, French, they will all say, we believe God is one, and we believe the final prophet is Prophet Muhammad. French accent, So you get any Muslim saying that. When you say, you French Muslim, what Quran do you believe? I believe in the same Quran. You ask a German, I believe in the same Quran. You ask a Chinese person, my Chinese accent, it's not very good. They all believe in the same Quran. Now, if you ask yourself then, Joe, if I was to believe in a religion, if I was to believe in a religion, surely the scripture that has been sent, because it's been sent by God, surely he should be able to look after it, isn't it?
Right, I see, I get your point.
You know what I'm saying? Like Harry Potter, if somebody starts adding like Harry Potter went to Hogwarts, Harry Potter met Hermione, then Harry Potter smoked some pot.
One thing I will say though, right, is like, even though that original text hasn't been corrupted, right, it's still, and this is the case with all religions, it doesn't change the fact that people have used your religion and other religions in corrupting ways, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
And we, you know, that's obvious, we know that. So I'm not like making it as like as my claim to not get into religion, but it doesn't render your point obsolete, but it is notable, you know, that like even though the text may not,
and that's how I'm giving it. Yeah. I'm giving it as a note. I'm scaffolding the argument. It's not the only one.
Yeah.
In fact, even as a side note, a footnote, I would say, and I would reference non-Muslim sources. Yeah, Karen Armstrong has written a book called Fields of Blood. Scott Atran, he's a terrorism expert, and amongst others, yeah, there's two others. Their names have skipped my head. Something more. Yeah, and they're of the opinion that, in fact, let me put that on ice.
Put that on ice.
Yeah, let me put that on ice. MI5. Let's deal with the country that we're in. Yeah. MI5 in a 2008 report.
Do you mind if I smoke, by the way?
No, go for it. Go for it. Just do like the side flex. Yeah. They're like, yeah, Scott Atran. That's what I think of Scott Atran.
No.
So
yeah, go on.
Yeah, so MI5, they said that the people that are conducting these attacks, these people, they don't practice their faith. They have a very basic understanding of their faith. And
who are they talking about? Sorry?
They're talking about extremists.
Oh, right.
Extremists, yeah. And then if we look at Scott Atran and Karen Armstrong, Karen Armstrong's of the opinion that most of these attacks done by whichever religion, these are done mostly for geopolitical reasons.
Yeah.
Scott Atran also says that the motivation for these people isn't usually religion. Yeah, these are experts. They've written literature.
They'll rationalize it as something spiritual to
it's used, isn't
bring
it?
a narrative to make it seem like it's moral. Yeah, this is the one thing I get worried about with religion, when it's used for, like, you know, for political purposes, or like used as a kind of like it's predicated on something spiritual, but really it's just being used for someone's own gain. You know.
But Joe, that happens all the time.
Of course, no.
You know, any death that
not just religion though. If you look at what's going on now with coronavirus, that's not religion. That's science doing the exact same thing. So this is one thing I say to people. They say, "Oh, religion. Look what it does. It just corrupts people." Look, human beings will do that no matter what.
They use football. Football gets used. Yeah, you know, certain countries are buying certain clubs for whatever reasons. You'll get certain events being used. Certain charities get used. In fact, the British, when they used the East India Company, to go to India for trade, and then ultimately they took over. But the point is, anything can be used. But just because it gets used, if, for example, Joe, if a country says Class A drugs are wrong, but somebody does a Class A drug and they die, are you going to blame the country, or are you going to blame the person?
Blame the person.
That's exactly what it is. Like, religion doesn't condone these things. Sure. However, if you look, for example, I would just give you three things to research. One's the Sykes-Picot Treaty, or Sykes-Picot. Sykes-Picot.
Okay.
So when you get home, check it up. Sykes-Picot is when the Ottoman Empire, which is an empire of Muslims, when that collapsed, the British, the French, and I think it was the Russians.
They collapsed in World War I, didn't it?
World War II.
World War II, right?
Yeah.
That was a big empire from Turkey, wasn't it?
It was. And then what happened was the Middle East literally got carved up. You take this, you take that, we take this, we take that. And then if you look at the Berlin Conference, Africa, it was similarly Europe. They call it, like, there's a picture in one of the newspapers, Africa's depicted as a cake, and you've got these leaders just taking a slice. And now if you look, certain wars that have been happening in Africa for a very long time. Yeah, it's because there's dispute about the borders that have been literally drawn on. We'll take this, all right, you guys take it. Even Belgium, who were the weakest, they came and they got a portion of it as well. Yeah, so the thing is now the borders that we have, Joe, are actually a lot of the things that we see nowadays can be traced back to those days. Right, and it is, and that's why you've got professionals like Karen Armstrong saying, look, these are linked to geopolitical reasons. For example, even if you look now, Iran, why is Iran pissed? Afghanistan, why is Afghanistan pissed? Yeah, you look at all of these. In fact, you can name any country and I can link it to a geopolitical thing that happened post-World War II. Post-World War II. There's a reason, mate. But the thing is, it's difficult to rally people around nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to rally people around something that's already established. You're doing your job. It's like Pepsi. Rather than spending millions of pounds, they just get Messi on there. Because a lot of that marketing's already been done on Messi. We stick Messi on there, boom, like he's done half of our job. It's a clever marketing technique. You want to get your country back, or you want to get this political issue. Why not use something that's already established? But then, mate, that's where people then need to think objective. That's where education comes in. You can take liberalism and link it to Napoleonic wars. You can take something like socialism and Marxism, which inherently or on paper seems very simple.
Very good, yeah. But in reality, it didn't work.
It didn't work.
I get into big arguments with my mum about it because she's like a communist and like she's very like radical left. I'm not saying that I'm right wing at all, but like I try to, and I think this is my view.